Now at the new Memorial Valley Chevy, just past Stowe and Morrisville in the beautiful town of Hyde Park, Vermont.
The Brady Farkas Show is produced and funded by WDEV and the Radio Vermont Group. We welcome listener feedback. Email your comments to WDEV@radiovermont.com.
The teams you care about.
Mac Jones is good. That's not the question. The question is he good enough to win repeatedly in this loaded AFC?
The stories that matter to you.
If I'm Xander Bogaerts, I need three things in order to get over that insulting contract offer.
This is your home for New England sports.
Jason Tatum, superstar. Book it.
This is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
What's up, everybody? Brady Farkas Show here on a Wednesday on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. Short show today. We go up until 6 o'clock, and then it's Red Sox baseball. Sox looking to take game 2 of their set with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sox enter today at 1 game under 500. They enter today at 4 games back in the AL wildcard chase. I spoke with both Freddie Coleman and Tom Caron today. You can check out those interviews after the show. They'll be available on our podcast channel on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Our interview from yesterday with Coach Brennan is there as well. In these short 30-minute shows, we tend to not play the whole interview. You might hear some clips here and there, though, throughout the next 30 minutes. You can get in on the Napa Morrisville, Napa Waterbury text line. That's 802-585-3026. Your locally owned Napa stores in Waterbury and Morrisville. You can also check us out on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and my Twitter account as well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And here we go.
The opening thoughts on the Brady Farkas Show brought to you by Six and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's most complete locally owned home center with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and at Swanton Lumber. They're online at sixandstuff.com. I know we have limited time today, and I really do want to talk a little bit about the Red Sox and a little bit about the Patriots, but I have to share with you all my story from this morning. I just have to. I'm going to be as classy as I can because I'm not looking to get somebody fired, and I'm not looking to bring an establishment down. So I'm not going to give names of or exact places of where this happened, but you need to hear this story. So I told you guys a couple weeks ago, right? Like 2 weeks ago, my windshield got busted up, right? Got hit by a rock that kind of got hit by the car in front of me. So I had a 2-foot gash in my windshield. It took 2 weeks for me to get an appointment to get it fixed. So I had to drive pretty far away from both my home and this office in order to get it fixed. So I had a 9 a.m. appointment to get my windshield fixed. I was not sure I was going to make the midday news service today because of how long the appointment was going to take and how far away I was. So I'm thinking that if I've got to go to this town that I don't really live near and that I certainly don't work near, I'm going to get some food from a place I don't ever get to go to, right? And it was a fast food place. So I'll say it was a fast food place. It was, you could sit down there, but it also had a drive-through. I'm not going to give any more than that. So I went to a place and I'm like, look, if I'm in this town I never go to, I might as well get food I can't get anywhere else. So I'm all excited. I'm all jazzed up that if I got to be up early going to get my windshield fixed, at least I'm going to get this cool food. So I'm thinking in my mind that the windshield replacement's going to take about an hour and a half. That's kind of what they told me. It's going to take an hour and a half. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll be done at 10:30. I can scoot on down the road, grab this cool fast food, maybe eat it in the car, but at least have it and get to work maybe in time to make the midday news service at noon. So the windshield replacement takes only 45 minutes. Like, this guy was awesome. The guy who worked at the windshield repair place, great job. Kudos to you. Let me recommend you to people. 9:45, I'm done. And I'm like, I don't think the place I want to go is even open yet. So I drive down and I check the hours, and sure enough, it opens at 10:30. I'm like, okay, I can get the food at 10:30, be in the drive-thru at 10:30, and I can still make the midday news service. So I'm okay. So I get out of there at 9:45. I drive over there. It's now 10 o'clock. I see opens in a half hour. So I kind of went back and I found some other places in town and I kind of putzed around and wasted some time and all that. Okay, cool. No problem. 10:25 comes. And now I'm back at the food place's parking lot. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's a couple cars here. Maybe people waiting for food like me. Might be a couple employees. Okay. So at 10:29, I pull into the drive-thru. I'm like, this place opens in 1 minute. I am going to be the first one in line. I'm going to get my food, and I'm going to be on the road, and I will make the news. So 10:29, okay, 10:30. I'm waiting for the voice on the other end, like, hello, welcome, what can we get for you? Like, I'm waiting for that. Doesn't come. 10:32, I'm still waiting for it. Yes, here are specials. Blah, 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 blah. I'm waiting. It doesn't happen. So it's 10:33, and I'm like, okay, are these guys just late? Is something happened? What's going on? So I pull out of the drive-thru, I pull all the way around, and I walk back in. And I walk into the establishment, and the door opens, right? And I walk in, and a guy kind of peeks his head out from the counter, and he goes, hey, I'm sorry, we are opening at 11 today. I wrote it on the door. And I go out and look, and I see that there is a printer paper with something written now, opening at 11 today. It wasn't there when I was there at 9:45. I didn't see it at 10:25 when I got there. It says, though, it does say in his defense, opening at 11 today. So I kind of look at the guy. Now I'm a little bit I'm disappointed, right? I've sat around for 45 minutes trying to just get this food. I understand that things happened. I get people are short-staffed. I understand technology can break down. Like, I kind of got it, but I wanted the people to know that I was a little bit put out. So all I said was, every other sign here says you open at 10:30. That's all I said. Every other sign here says you open at 10:30. And I didn't say it too snootily. And the guy goes to me, hey, look, something happened. We had an issue. You can call my boss if you want. And he wasn't being a jerk. He was just kind of deflecting it. He goes, you can call my boss if you want. And I was about ready to leave. So the guy had said, you can call my boss if you want. I'm about ready to walk out. And then some tatted up jerk who also works there from the back says from the back, you can't see him. I only know he's tatted because I see him a few minutes later. He goes, or you can just get the F out and never come back here. And I gotta tell you, I am about as soft as it gets when it comes to things like this. Like, I am the last person to cause confrontation or to engage in confrontation, especially like when something is not someone's fault. I don't take it out on them. Like, I don't yell at the cashier for a store policy. The 16-year-old cashier didn't make it. The junior in high school didn't make the policy. I don't get on those people. The waiter or waitress didn't undercook my burger. I don't take it out on them. So this guy who had told me, hey, we had an issue, take it up with the boss, I was going to let that slide. Like, okay, the boss told him to open later to fix this issue. I'm not going to get on this guy who's just trying to make a living. But then when this jerk goes to me, or you can get the F out and never come back, well, that set me off to a level I've probably never been to in a place like this before. Now, it's not really public because the place apparently isn't open, so I'm the only one in there with these guys. So I go to him, I turn to him, and I go, if the guy's finally walked out from behind the corner, I go, look, buddy, I'm not talking to you. I don't need that. I don't need your mouth. And it's amazing how strong and invincible you feel when that counter is separating you. I don't know what would have happened if me and this guy got into a fist fight. I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably be in the hospital with my jaw wired shut. But you feel invincible when this counter is separating you. At this point, I'm like, okay, pal, bring it. So this guy's telling me to get the F out and never come back. I'm telling him I don't need his mouth. Then he walks from the end to basically where the drive-thru is, and he said something else to me like, again, get the F out. And I go, once again, buddy, I'm not speaking to you. I am not talking to you. I'm talking to that guy, the original guy. And I go, I sympathize with whatever you're going through here in the industry right now. I get it. I was ready to walk away. But when you tell me to get the F out and never come back, well, now we're going to have a problem. And now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do about this whole thing. So I can't wait for the food. because I got to get to work. I don't know that I would have wanted it anyways. It would have been a spit burger for sure. So, and it wasn't a burger place. It's just an expression. So I don't want the food at this point. I'm not going to wait around any further. I'm thinking to myself, so then this guy gives me a sarcastic, jackass apology where he says, "Oh, sorry, buddy." And I go, good. Good. Thanks for your apology. And I walked out. Now I'm thinking, what's going to be done next? I'm definitely telling this story on the radio. I'm like, they're lucky that I'm nice and I'm not naming names. Because I don't know if I should be naming names, but I've decided against naming names because I don't want to abuse my platform. I want to tell the story because it's an entertaining story for all of you. I don't want to abuse my platform and get places shut down and get people to lose jobs. That's not what I'm going for. So I decided against naming names. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tell the story. That's first. And then I'm like, what happens from here? Do I let it go? Or do I go to corporate or to the boss and complain and try to score some freebies? So 802-585-3026. What should I do here? Should I let it go and just accept that I got a good story and I got to feel like a tough guy for a bit who fought back? Or do I go for some retribution and try to score some freebies here in this world of inflation? And here's the other thing. Like, if you're working, I sympathize. I get it. Number one, you're working in food. Food is hard. Food is a hard place to work. I've never done it because I'm not cut out for it. So kudos to you if you work in food. But this guy, have a nicer disposition. This isn't fast food of 10 years ago where you're working for $6.75. I see fast food places all the time hiring for $20 an hour. This dude's probably making good money to be as big a jerk as he was being today. If he was making $6.75, I'd get it. But this guy's probably making good money to treat customers like that. That's not acceptable. So what should I be doing? 802-585-3026. Do I go for some retribution? Do I go for the freebies? Or do I just let it go? That's what I like. That was my morning today. I didn't get the food. I didn't even bring a lunch to work today because I was so jacked up for this food. I'm like, I'm going to eat an early lunch today. That'll carry me through the whole day. So now I have no food. I'm starving by the time I get to work at 11:30. I'm like, this was my morning. My windshield's good. The guy who worked on it was great. The food situation was horrible. The guy was a jerk. I was starving. I did make the midday news service. So about 50%, 50%. Milo in North Troy says customers should never be talked to like that. Yeah, customers shouldn't be talked to like that. Get the F out and never come back. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, that was a new one. I've never had that before. I've gotten mildly annoyed with employees before, and I've had them get mildly annoyed with me. I've never had that level of anger before from an employee. So it's a good story. Don't get me wrong. It's a good story. Like, from an entertainment purpose, I'm glad that it happened so that I could talk about it. But it is not. It's not good. Not good juju for that place. Contact corporate. Identify the guy who is mean so the nice guy doesn't get in trouble, and ask for a reply. That's Peter in Plattsburgh. So thanks, Peter. Appreciate you. Yeah, we'll see. The one thing I'm afraid about is when I go to corporate, because I kind of looked online at just the whole process of reporting a complaint, they want to know my name. I don't know I want this guy to know my name. Like, they want me to fill out a comment card with who I am and everything. Do I want that? Do I want my name out there? Maybe I don't. I don't want that guy coming after me. Rich in Starksboro, Brady, you should consider changing your practices and make your own dinner. That way you could focus on sportscasting. I admit your rant is somewhat interesting. Okay, so Rich is telling me basically don't talk about this stuff, just talk about sports. Okay, fair enough, Rich. I usually am like that. I'll be honest with you. I usually am the same way. I usually like to just talk about sports, but every once in a while, people are interested in my real life as well. And it's amazing. You would actually be amazed how many people text in. If I asked right now, who do the Red Sox need to step up tonight, I'd get 0 texts on it. I've already gotten 3 right there on this story. People are interested in this stuff. Don't ask me why, but you like hearing about my real life. So when I have something interesting, I bring it to the forefront. I'm with you, Rich. Usually I like to just stick to sports too. But in this case, I had to bring this to light because it was too interesting not to. I couldn't suppress this all day long. This is my outlet to get it out. I had to get it out. You want to talk sports? Here you go. There was a really nice human moment in the Red Sox game yesterday. I'll tell you what that was. That's next in the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV.
Hi, my name is Mark Patterson, and I work as a personal care attendant at Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice. I've worked at Home Health for 16 years. What I love about my job is that it actually matters to someone besides myself that I show up, and that I make people's lives better. I know at the end of the day, my time is not wasted. CVHHH is hiring personal care attendants to support Central Vermonters at home. In this role, you will bring positive social interaction, warmth, and emotional support to your clients at home. You will ensure your clients' comfort and safety by providing support with essential tasks like light housekeeping and laundry, meal preparation, cooking, and help with personal care. At Home Health, you will join a supportive and close-knit team of personal care attendants and have the support of your supervisor. You will also have day-to-day support from the team scheduler, case managers, and client care coordinator. Wages start at $15 an hour. Join me and make a difference in the Central Vermont community. Learn more and apply at cvhhh.org.
I was looking at some pictures with my mom the other day and was really struck by one shot. I was 11. It was my first school band performance, and I was beaming with pride. And Mom reminded me how I didn't stop talking about it for days. And now I'm so excited for my son starting his own musical journey. And just like they were for my mom and me, Ellis Music will be there to take care of everything. Ellis Music is local, family-owned, and rents and sells only high-quality instruments recommended by teachers. Ellis Music has a large selection of student models at discount prices. And with their rent-to-own program, discovering the right instrument is flexible and affordable with no long-term contracts. If your child doesn't take to the trumpet, swap it for a trombone or saxophone until they find the instrument they love. It's all part of Ellis's rent-to-own program, as is worry-free maintenance and repair. So if you'd like to bring the magic of music to your child's life, visit ellismusic.com.
Congratulations to Walter Liggett of Montpelier, our latest winner from WDEV's Fairness to Fans machine. The next firing of Fairness to Fans is Friday, August 26th. You must be listening to win. Fill out the entry form at WDEVradio.com, then tune in Friday, August 26th during the noon hour. If we call your name, you'll have 5 minutes and 50 seconds to call in and win the LaRue Brothers Transmission's Fairness to Fans machine, only on WDEV. Make your opinion heard by texting onto the Brady Farkas Show at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show, right here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. Texter says, we enjoy hearing about your personal life, Brady. It adds a nice change of pace from time to time. Well, thank you very much, Texter. So there you go. Rich in Starksboro, people like hearing about this stuff. When I get told to get the F out, I'm going to tell you the story. When I win Pitcher of the Week, I'm going to tell you the story. When I get lit up, I'm going to tell you the story. Phil in Middlesex says, by the way, Brady, I enjoyed your story a few days ago about baseball. Are you a better baseball player or basketball player? That is tough. I would say baseball player. That said, you know, you're more dependent on your team in baseball. So you could be I could be better at baseball, but have a worse result or have a worse season because you're more dependent on your team, right? Like if your team doesn't hit or if your team loses or if you don't have a good catcher, you know, just anything that goes into a team sport like that, you're more dependent as a baseball player than you are as a basketball player. Basketball player, you can just get up there and you can chuck as much as you want and you can hit a bunch if you really are aiming for it. So I'd say I'm better at baseball. That's for sure. People are trying to guess where I am, where I was going. I will say this. I'm not going to say where it is. There is a texter who has guessed it right, though. There is a texter who guessed it right. I'll leave it at that. So between me and that person, we'll know who's right. And, we'll leave it there. So, all right. 802-585-3026. There was a really good human moment last night in the Red Sox game. Red Sox won. They beat the Pirates 5-3. They're 4 back in the wild card. The win was good. Picking up a game in the standings last night was good. But more so than all of that, I was really happy for Matt Barnes. I was really happy for Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes got the save. And again, as good as it was to pick up a game and stay relevant and all of that in the standings, I was just happy to see Barnes succeed late in the game. I do not know what it's like to pitch in the major leagues. I don't know what it's like to have the kind of pressure that a major leaguer has. But I do know what it's like to pitch. I do know what it's like to struggle. I do know what it's like to doubt yourself when you're on the mound. And when you are on the pitcher's mound and you are doubting yourself, there is no lonelier place to be. The loneliest places in sports when you are struggling, the free throw line, being a field goal kicker, and maybe a hockey goalie, and being on the pitcher's mound. There are not that many places that are more lonely, potentially, than a pitcher's mound. And when you are struggling, as Matt Barnes has been now for 14 months, Matt Barnes has gone through the ringer for a year plus now. To see him come back last night and triumph in the 9th inning, that was a big deal. And I was happy for him. And it mattered to me far more than just the final score and far more than a playoff race. From just a human element last night, I was so thrilled for Matt Barnes. I mean, you look at this. 13 months ago, Matt Barnes was an all-star. He was an all-star. He signed a contract extension. Matt Barnes was on the top of the world, pitching for a team, closing out games that was headed to the playoffs in all likelihood. That's where Matt Barnes was 13 months ago. And then, second half of the year last year, just fell off a cliff. He was practically unpitchable. The team couldn't trust him a lick. This year, he was awful at the beginning. The team didn't trust him again. Then he was on the 60-day injured list. And you know what? I don't know if he was really hurt or if he just kind of got banished to clear his mind. But either way, Matt Barnes had to go through real adversity. Either he was legitimately injured or his team sent him away to clear his head. I don't know which one it was, but to go through all of that and to come out the other side yesterday and close the door, yes, it's just one game, it was very rewarding to see. I will never forget how hard it was for me, even on the most micro of levels, to pitch and deal with adversity. Okay, 16-year-old youth baseball tore me apart. College baseball tore me apart. High school baseball tore me apart. It wasn't until men's leagues that I developed any real confidence and any real mental toughness and any semblance of knowing what I was good. It tore me apart on things that really didn't matter. I can only imagine what Matt Barnes has gone through, the self-doubt, the self-reflection, the talking to yourself, the wondering if you can do it. Like, yeah, you got a nice guaranteed contract, and that helps a little bit. It doesn't help with insecurity when you're doing it at the level that Matt Barnes was doing it at. So, I know what it's like to struggle in that place. And Matt Barnes is doing it on a level that's a zillion times more pressure-packed than I was, and he's doing it in front of everybody. So last night, to see him come out and get a save where he went 10 pitches, where he had 2 strikeouts, where he threw 95, 96 with a good curveball, that was rewarding to see. Yes, it's one game. I don't care. From a human element, sometimes in this business, we get so wrapped up on wins and losses, and we get so wrapped up on standings. And of course we should. That's important. We're fans too. But we also love just human stories. We love a comeback. And last night was Matt Barnes' comeback. I don't know if he pitches today, if he'll give up 7 earned runs in 1 inning. But for last night, it was good to see a guy overcome obstacles and overcome adversity. To you, it was Matt Barnes against a last-place team on a Tuesday night. To me, it was Matt Barnes getting over a mental hump that's existed for, 13 months? I mean, he hasn't had a save since May of this year. His team hasn't trusted him in God knows how long. And last night was him getting over the hump. And I will not overreact to it. I don't know that it means anything moving forward, because again, he could revert back to the guy who can't throw a strike and get hit tonight. But I do allow myself to think, like, what if Matt Barnes does figure this out? This team, this year and beyond, needs bullpen help. Maybe Matt Barnes can be that guy. Okay, John Schreiber is that guy. Garrett Whitlock is that guy. Maybe Matt Barnes can be a guy once again. I don't know. And I don't bank on it. But I can allow myself to think about it and visualize it again based on what we saw last night. It is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. Thoughts on Matt Barnes? If you've got him, we'll take him. Again, 802-585-3026. I like what Alex Cora said after the game yesterday, that the team really needed to do a better job at adding on. I mean, Red Sox scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and they deserved those runs. They earned those runs. They put pressure. They didn't get a hit after the second inning. Innings 3 through 9, Red Sox went hitless. Alex Cora was right after the game when he said, like, good teams add on. Good teams put more pressure. Good teams get to a team's bullpen even more in game 1 of a series. That's how you win series. So as good as last night was, and it was feel-good vibes to have Kike back and to have Ref Snyder back and have Pivetta pitch well, you still saw a team that went sleepy on offense for 7 innings. Hopefully that's not the case tonight. Hopefully this team comes out and they get Xander Bogaerts back in the lineup today. Hopefully they come back and, end up here winning the first 2 games of the series. They need to win this series. They need to win this series. So they need to sweep this series. Texter on the story of my morning here, Tony from Stowe says, contact management, that is unfreaking excusable. There you go, Tony, appreciate you. And reminder here to all the people who say, and I say this lovingly, there are people out there that say, Brady, we don't want to hear about your personal life. We just want to hear sports. That's fine. You're allowed to have your cup of tea. There are far more texts on my story about the restaurant today than there were about myself. I just did 5 minutes on Matt Barnes. A nice human interest story on Matt Barnes. I'll tell you, 0 text. My story on this restaurant today has a list that's longer than longer than our text line allows at the moment. So people do like hearing this stuff. So, you know what? I like deviating from sports once in a while myself. It is fun once in a while to get out here and talk about this stuff too. So, all right. By the way, Little League World Series started today. I caught a few minutes of that. The Curacao team beat Nicaragua 2-0 earlier today. I've been to the Little League World Series. It was an absolute blast. I went in 2013 when I was living in Pennsylvania for a bit. And I went out and saw, the team from Connecticut, a team from Washington. I watched a couple of teams from overseas as well. So Little League World Series, I recommend you going if you've never been before. Red Sox Pirates. Sox can win, get back to 500. It's Rich Hill, 4-5 with a 4.75 against Ronzi Contreras, 3-2 with a 3.78. A young arm for Pittsburgh, who's been injured quite a bit lately. Tommy Pham leads off in left. Rafael Devers at third. Xander Bogaerts at short. Alex Verdugo in right. JD Martinez the DH. Eric Hosmer's at first. Christian Arroyo's at second. Reese McGuire the catcher. And Kike Hernandez is in center, and he bats ninth. Kevin Newman is the shortstop for Pittsburgh. Brian Reynolds is in center. Michael Chavis is at first. Ben Gamel is in right. Kevin Padlow's at third. Rodolfo Castro at second. Greg Allen in left. Blig Madris, he is the DH, and Jason DeLay is the catcher, and he bats ninth. That'll do it for us here on the Brady Farkas Show. Go download the podcast channel on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can subscribe to us there or give us a rate and review as well. Wild card standings updates. The Blue Jays beat the Orioles 6-1 today, so the Red Sox aren't going to pick up any ground on the teams that are actually in the wild card position right now, at least, at the back end. So the Red Sox are still going to be at least 4 back after today. So we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Go Sox. This is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM.
This is WDEV, Vermont's news station, owned and operated by the Radio Vermont Group. From the top of Sugar Bush, 96.1 FM, WDEV